Today we're going to share with you our top 3 tips for senior golfers, and we're starting right here with the driver.
Yes, welcome to Meandmygolf. We are Andy and Piers today helping you out, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified when we release a video, and help us get to 1 million subscribers. We want to help as many golfers as we can, and also check out our video series, our free video series, 5 shots lower, in the description. Right, Piers, the driver. Now for senior golfers, often want a little bit more distance off the tee.
Yep.
How can we get this?
Okay, so look, it starts in the setup really. So Sean, if you can just come around here, actually you can see a better view of this. So what we're going to do with the right foot, your trail foot, is we're going to pull it back. So we close the stance line. You've probably heard this before. And you can pull it back quite a bit, because what it does, it allows you to turn your hips earlier in your backswing. The next thing that you can do to help open out on your backswing is to get your foot and flare it away from the target. You can see my right foot now, I've flared it out away from the target, and I've got this right hip back. And straight away now, I've got a lot more freedom and movement in that low body.
But the reason we do this is because if you're a senior golfer, then it can be quite hard to actually create a lot of rotation. And if you want to improve some extra distance off the tee, creating a bigger wind up or a bigger turn in the backswing helps us produce a bigger arc. So if we can do that by making a couple of adjustments, it really does make a difference. And it just starts with the feet, really, doesn't it?
For sure. And I think you understand the bigger arc, but let's just go through that. So when we're talking about a bigger arc, it's just getting that club head to go on a wider arc around the body. And the way we facilitate that is by having a bigger turn. Okay, now here is kind of the crucial part with this, because maybe a little bit with old school coaching, there was a lot of focus on keeping that right leg flexed so you can create tension. If you're thinking about doing that, you definitely need to stop that straight away. We need you to allow yourself to free up your leg action. So let's just get into my setup again. So closing the stance, flaring the foot out. Now watch my right leg and my left leg now when I swing. So you can see as I'm swinging back now, my right leg has straightened somewhat. My left knee has moved in a lot. And there's a big gap now. If Sean comes around here, you'll see that gap even more. There's a big gap between the knees. Whereas in the old style technique, it would be kind of like this, where the flex in the leg is maintained. We don't want to do that. It's just not any good for you. So again, pull the foot back, flare it out, and then allow that right leg and left leg to have more movement and freedom.
And you can see from the front on here, look at the difference in the shoulder turn, the hips, the chest, the core, everything's moving there. And if we can do that, it actually not only creates this bigger arc and helps create some speed, it frees the motion up. It feels quite nice and not as much tension going through the back as well.
Just one thing before I hit this one as well, Andy, and then just to add to this, because you may well do this and go, well, hang on a bit, this is a bigger turn as I've ever had, and if you're a little bit stiff in the neck, which I am actually at the moment, it might be harder for you to see the golf ball. That's okay, it may go to the end of your peripheral vision, but don't worry, you'll soon see it when you're swinging down and wanting to hit the golf shot. So shall I hit one, Andy?
Yeah, let's give it a go and see if we can find the fairway.
Okay, so from here,
the Piers,
pull
the
it
good
back,
thing is on this, Piers is actually adopting this because he's almost a senior golfer. So this is great sort of addition to Piers's technique here.
Right, here we go. Watch this leg work from here now. That was pretty decent, a little bit down the right-hand side, but I'll take that.
Yeah, a bit more speed there, Piers.
Good turn, big turn, that's what we need.
Isn't it frustrating when we hit an iron shot and we hit the ground first, we get that duff shot, all the energy goes into the ground and the ball doesn't go anywhere? Well, this next tip is going to help us get that ball followed by the turf, and it's really simple for you guys as well. Piers, talk us through this one. Okay,
so look, first thing we need to understand is how we get into that lead side, and that's what we're talking about when we want to talk about good ball striking. So better players will always get into this lead side when they are striking the golf ball with their irons. You can see that I'm getting the shaft lent forward somewhat. Now, as a senior golfer, you don't have to have it lent forward a lot, but we do want a little bit of this shaft lean forwards, which we're going to help by working at your hip action right now. So have a look at this. If there was a line on my leg, we refer to this as the sway line a lot. What we would like you to do in your backswing, should I say, is to actually almost work away from that line a little bit on your backswing, so it's easier for you to get into your left leg when you're striking the golf ball. Imagine this, if you were to move onto that line or even go through that line, it's harder and you have to move more to then get to the left leg. So make it easy for yourself. This is actually something I'm doing to help me with my iron ball striking, which is to actually feel as though my hip, pocket, leg, however you want to think about this, is moving slightly towards the target at the top of the backswing.
So this is just now making it so much easier for Piers now to just just swing down to impact. He hasn't got as much to go now, which means the ground after the golf ball can be hit a lot easier, and it just makes things much more simple. So the right pocket on his right butt cheek is actually moving towards the target, and it's a great feel, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed, indeed. And one thing you can do to maybe couple this as well to start with is you could have a slightly narrower stance as well. When you have that narrower stance, it's easy to get a good wind up on the way back and then move into that lead leg when you're playing your irons.
Okay.
I think I'd like to play this. The grass, look at it. It looks, I feel bad hitting a divot here.
It's a beautiful par 3, the third at the Asprey here. And you can still keep the right foot exactly the same, flare it out. That will still help when it comes to actually turning as well.
Okay, have a little practice mimic before you hit the shot. And then hit the trigger.
Again, the beauty of that there is, if you come and take a look at this here, the beauty of that, the ball was just here, and we can see that the divot has happened past the golf ball there. That is exactly what we want when it comes to solid ball striking, and that is exactly what that tip's going to do. Now let's get down to the green.
Now before we get into the third tip, if you're enjoying the video, hit the like button, and also, what problems do you have with your game as a senior golfer? Post down below and hopefully we can help you out. So Andy, chipping.
Yes.
This is an important one, isn't it? Because we want to chip it close.
We do.
What are you going to do?
And we want to strike it nicely, which is the key thing. It's horrible when we create these duffs where we're hitting the ground or even the knives through the back of the green. So what we want to talk about on this is really, if you think about coaching and the technique, it's actually changed quite a lot over the years. Now, for a lot of senior golfers in the past, they may have been taught to chip by, let's get the ball back in the stance, let's lean forward, lean the shaft forward and hit down. Okay, let's try that. Okay, well, the ball's gone a yard. That's a good one for me. The ball's gone a yard. We've all been there and done that. And that is exactly what we don't want, because it gives us zero margin for error. It means if we hit a bad shot, it is terrible. What we're about to show you now is going to actually make it so easy that you can hit a bad shot and it's still going to be actually pretty close. So the first thing is, let's neutralize the setup. So instead of actually creating these angles and changing all our body, all we're going to do is get the ball in the middle of the feet. We're going to get the shaft pointing at the midline of the body. We're going to have a little bit of pressure on the lead leg, but this is our setup now. We're not really creating too many of these angles because this causes problems. Now the main focus from here now, instead of hitting down, we actually just want a little bit of a brush. Our focus is not hitting down, our focus is just to allow the club just to create this nice brush, this good interaction with the ground. This is what is going to create some consistency.
Just do me a favour, Sean, you come in here close and just look at him doing these brush shots again, because this is really important. If you feel or you've been told that you decelerate on your chip shots, we very rarely see people decelerating on their chip shots. The deceleration comes from hitting the ground too early and stopping and digging. There's no deceleration here when Andy's hitting the ground at any point really through that technique. Like Andy says, he can be 3 inches before the ball, 1 inch before the ball, the result will be pretty similar.
So here's the drill. All you need is a ball marker. If you're coming close here, I'm just going to show you exactly how to set this up. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to place the ball marker a couple of inches before the golf ball. And my focus here, I'm going to hit the ball marker before I hit the golf ball. And that's going to sound strange because normally if you hit the ground first, it kills you. But my focus now is to hit the ball marker with a brushing action with this new setup. And this is going to show you how easy it is to land the club on the ground a little before the golf ball and actually still produce a good shot. So, normal setup here, as I've just said, I'm just going to hit that ball marker and the golf ball, and let's just see what happens if I can produce a good shot. Now, as you can see there, the ball marker actually went away first. I've chipped it close, but that shows you that you can hit the ground first, providing you do the things there, creating the nice neutral setup, ball in the center of the stance, and allow that brushing action. That is a great drill, and that will train you to use the club well, and on your bad shots, you're still going to chip it close.
Awesome stuff. Now don't forget, if you want to knock 5 shots off your score, click the link down below for 5 shots lower, and we'll see you soon.